Mr. President, I have memorial citation, Senate Resolution 32 on the clerk's desk. I would ask it to be called and read in its entirety.
Members, if we could have your attention, we have a member that has requested a memorial resolution, so if you would please be as quiet as possible. Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Resolution number 32 and read it in its entirety.
Senate Resolution 32, a resolution adjourning the Senate in honor and loving memory of Tatum Elizabeth Dale. Whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale was born in Murray, Kentucky on May 10, 1990 to Bill and Ellen Dale, and whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale was a proud graduate of Callaway County High School and the University of Kentucky, and whereas after graduating college, Tatum Elizabeth Dale volunteered to work on Congressman Andy Barr's first congressional campaign and continued to work for him for the next 15 years, where she would go on to hold almost every position in the Barr congressional office, including scheduler, field representative, deputy district director, district director, and most recently deputy chief of staff and campaign manager. And whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale was an extraordinary young woman with a servant's heart and the capacity to love and make people feel special, she had the ability to connect with people and get to know them in a way that was genuine and from the heart. And whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale was a devout servant of the Lord and a member of the Calvary Baptist Church in Lexington, Kentucky, where she found a passion for mission work, she also chaperoned countless honor flights carrying veterans to Washington, D.C. And whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale had an endearing love for her family, she understood the blessing of family and showed her love constantly in big and small ways. And whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale passed away on December 24, 2025, at the University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky, she was preceded in death by her grandparents, J.C., Billy and Corona Elizabeth Libby Mahan, and Reverend B.G. and Doris Dale, and her uncle Joe Skip Ginn. And whereas Tatum Elizabeth Dale is survived by her parents Bill and Ellen Dale, two brothers, Leighton Amy Dale and Nolan Dale, and his fiancee Sid Potonik, cherished nieces Libby Tate and Eddie James Dale, aunts and uncles David and Becky Ginn, Tim and Sonia Ginn, Diane Lee, Lisa and Doug Steele, Pam and Barry Albright, and Bruce and Deb Dale, many beloved cousins, and her constant four-legged companion, Henry. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the Senate hereby extends its most profound sympathy upon the passing of Tatum Elizabeth Dale and expresses heartfelt condolences to her family and community in this time of loss. When the Senate adjourns this day, it does so in honor and loving memory of Tatum Elizabeth Dale. The clerk of the Senate is directed to transmit a copy of this resolution to Senator Greg Elkins to deliver to the family.
Senator from Clark.
Speak on the resolution, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Whether you knew Tatum or not, the work she did touched probably everyone in this room. Tatum was fiercely loyal, a public servant who dedicated her life to serving the 6th Congressional District with the rest of the Commonwealth throughout. First time I met Tatum, probably about 2014, and I had developed a landfill gas to energy project, and Congressman Barr wanted to see the project. So I went and picked him up at his office, and this young girl climbed in the back seat of the truck with us, and we were riding around the project looking at it, and the congressman said, "I'd like to go see this other thing that we had going on across the property," and Tatum spoke up and said, "No, we're not doing that. We don't have time for that. We have this and this and this to do." And I thought, who in the world is this girl in the back seat of my truck telling the congressman what he will and won't do? And that was Tatum Dale. That was my first experience with her, and I told the congressman about that at her memorial, and he laughed and he said, "I remember that." Tatum was a special person. We lost her too soon, 35 years old. She was a dear friend. She did great work for the district and the Commonwealth, and I appreciate everything she did for me personally. Mr. President, I'll yield to anyone else if they have anything they'd like to say.
Senator, if you'll go ahead and make a motion on the resolution, then we'll go to other members that wish to speak.
I would, Mr. President. I move that we adopt the resolution.
The motion for the body is adoption of Senate Resolution number 32. Other members seeking recognition to speak on the motion. Senator from Fayette 12.
Speak on the resolution, please.
Please proceed.
I'm going to do my best, Mr. President, not to cry during this, but I met Tatum on that very first campaign 15 years ago and worked with her every day since. The number of times over the last couple weeks that I've picked up the phone to call and say, hey, don't forget, hey, I need help. You need to do this, keep this in mind. And then realized and put my phone down has been just one of so many people in Central Kentucky who relied on her. Boy, she loved her dog, Henry. Boy, she loved her dog. She was an incredible person. And over the time when she grew in her role, not one time did and they've done thousands of constituent requests from members in the 6th District. Not one time did she say, well, is this person a voter? Are they a Republican? Are they a donor? Are they someone important? She just said, send me the info. We'll take care of it. And that was how they ran that office. And she took that responsibility so strongly. Her efforts to ensure that no matter who called, who reached out, that they got a phone call back, the person on the other line was willing and wanting to serve, was something that she modeled in her daily life. She reached every, I hate to use the word party, but every group knew Tatum, and they felt comfortable talking to her. She had friends in every piece of the district, and because she was well respected, she treated everyone the same way. She was a beautiful person, and you don't find public servants like that typically. They're rare, they're unique, and she had such a special glow about her. She served not just Congressman Barr's office well, but so many of us who relied on her. I could tell 1,000 stories, but I won't. When I moved over to the Senate, we were talking about budgeting one day, and she said, we should sit down and make sure that the congressman's requests and your requests are all on the same page. I'm like, oh yeah, we absolutely should. And so in the last budget year, we did. We sat down and went through everybody in the 6th District and what the projects were and what could qualify for federal government grants, what couldn't. Because we really both believe that we should maximize the dollar. And if we can find a way to leverage, then we should. And she took that responsibility so strongly. One of public service, one of love for Kentucky, and she will be deeply, deeply missed.
Thank you, Senator. The members seeking to speak on the resolution, please stand, because sometimes this gets things out of order. So if you're wishing to speak on this resolution, please stand. Senator from Perry to speak on the resolution.
Yes, I would. Thank you for allowing me to do so. I probably have one of the last texts that she sent, and she literally was working up to the end. The congressman had some, for those of us that like to hunt, if you saw the hats they had, the camouflage hats, they're really popular with us. And so I had chased him down to ask him, where he got these hats. And he said, get up with her, she'll take care of you. And she got, not only that, she had priced it, had everything ready for me to go, and had sent that to me literally just right before she had passed. But that young lady had tenacity and grit that I think defines really what our party's all about. And I'm just so impressed with her, and that's my memory of her, is not only doing it, but overdoing it, and being so cheerful about it. And she even priced another company that she thought, but I will cherish that memory for her and appreciate the time that I got to spend with her. But Godspeed to her.
Thank you, Senator. The member seeking recognition to speak on the resolution. Seeing none, the motion for the body is on adoption of Senate Resolution number 32 in honor of Tatum Elizabeth Dale. All those in favor of the motion for adoption say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Senate Resolution 32 is adopted. Senate, let us stand in a moment of silence and celebrate this servant of the people. Thank you.